I think we are expecting a show. It should be a great match. Let's talk about this one now with Anita Jones, who's at the Emirates for us. It's a huge London derby. So much on the line in this one, Anita. Just 2 points separate the two. It's all about that fight for the top four, isn't it?
You're so right, Jules. It is a huge clash when it comes to that fight for the top four. I think it's fair to say that those top three positions are probably wrapped up by Manchester City, Liverpool and Chelsea, but that last Champions League spot that everyone wants still looks up for grabs. So as you mentioned, West Ham and Arsenal are separated by just 2 points. The Irons are actually in that fourth spot at the moment on 28 points, with the Gunners just on 26. Now, to give us an idea of how Mikel Arteta's side are looking going into that huge London derby, I'm joined by the Athletics Arsenal writer James McNicholas. So James, I guess let's start with that game at the weekend here against Southampton. 3-0 win for Mikel Arteta's men. You've got to say it was probably a much needed win, given those two losses beforehand against Everton and then Manchester United.
Yeah, in some respects it was exactly what the doctor ordered. I mean, those defeats were really disappointing, and I think you could see in Arsenal's performance that there was a lack of confidence in the early stages of that game. But they scored a fantastic goal, playing out from the back, brilliant finish from Lacazette, and from that moment on they really pushed on and dominated. And the second half in particular, they looked really strong, so they're in much better shape heading into this West Ham game.
And let's talk about that goal that Lacazette scored. For Arsenal fans out there, it may have been reminiscent to when former manager Arsene Wenger was here. There were 16 passes in total. What impressed you the most about the build-up to it?
To be honest, what impressed me the most is the composure that Arsenal showed in their own half, because we know Southampton are a pressing team, they're really high intensity, and they were having quite a lot of success against Arsenal with that approach. But it takes confidence, it takes character to stick to the plan in those situations. And the likes of Ramsdale, Gabriel, White, they did that. And it enabled them to escape, play it up the right flank, some lovely triangles, a brilliant cross from Saka and a lovely finish from Lacazette.
And Ødegaard again on the score sheet. That's 3 goals in 3 games. Do you think he's starting to live up to the hype that Arsenal fans thought he'd bring?
I think so, and actually I'm not sure anyone anticipated him scoring with this kind of regularity. It's not something he's historically done loads of, but it's definitely something Arsenal need. Goals from midfield has been a big problem for them really since Aaron Ramsey left the club. He's got 4 for this season. Emil Smith-Rowe's now got 5, so they're looking a bit better in that department. They could probably do nonetheless with a few more goals from centre forward.
Right, I'm glad you mentioned centre forward, because the huge story going into that game was that captain Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang wasn't in the matchday squad. Now, you've actually written an article about this. Would you mind just giving our viewers kind of the sequence of events that led him to being dropped?
Yeah, no problem at all. So Aubameyang was given some time off by the club last week to go and visit his mother in France, and his intention was to bring her back with him to the UK. And he was told that was fine as long as he came back on Wednesday evening. Unfortunately, that didn't happen. He came back on Thursday morning very early, reported for training on time, but it was later to come back than the club had agreed to. And with that came some implications for the COVID protocols that all the clubs are following at the present time. So the club were unhappy and he was sanctioned. Arteta came out and said it was a breach of discipline. And that was the situation. He was left out of the squad. He didn't actually train on the Friday with the squad before the game. He was at home working on fitness alone. Sunday, nobody from the first team trained, so we're still waiting to find out what the situation is right now.
I guess we'll be looking at that team sheet tomorrow. Talking about tomorrow, of course, Arsenal welcome West Ham here. Huge London derby, probably more important than it has been in recent seasons. How do you see that game going? Because Mikel Arteta wanted the Emirates to become a fortress. They've won 6 out of a possible 8 games.
Yeah, I don't know if you would have foreseen a few years ago Arsenal versus West Ham being such a pivotal fixture in the calendar for both these teams. I think that's big credit to West Ham and maybe less credit to Arsenal in that respect, but it is massive. You know, those games, particularly that game against Manchester United, was a real opportunity for Arsenal to kind of consolidate their position among those teams competing for European places. That 4th Champions League spot, as you said earlier, it looks like it could be up for grabs. West Ham are staking a great claim. If Arsenal can beat them and go above them in the league on Wednesday, they've got to be placed in that mix too. And given how they started the season, that will feel like significant progress.
Okay, well, James, thank you so much. As you know, Arsenal welcome West Ham here at the Emirates tomorrow, 8 p.m. UK time.